Hi, welcome to If I Did It, a show where we analyze and solve pure kerfuffles from MMA world and beyond.
A gale force wind.
I'm your host, Alexi Old, and joining me as always is Kid Native Bloody Elbow and EUGENE'S Robinson from Aussie.com and author of Fight Everything You Ever Know About Ass Kicking, but we're afraid you'd get your ass kicked for asking.
Damn straight.
Now, Eugene.
Yes, sir.
You're WME-IMG.
Women.
He's always WME-IMG.
Women.
UFC Women's Bantamweight Champion Amanda Nunes told ESPN W she plans on retiring after, quote, maybe in a couple of fights. 2 more, end quote. After being blasted for promotional malpractice and failing to stand by your champ, can you afford to rectify your PR sins by backing a fighter who already has an eye on retirement?
No. I mean, at this point, it's like, oh, thanks, a self-correcting problem. I mean, this is WME-IMG women is a barge, you know, like pulled by Sal. You remember that? Old American Standard. I got a mule. Her name is Sal. 16 years on the ear. Anyway, I don't know.
I do remember that one.
Okay. All right.
Sea shanties from the
So from the Northeast. So it takes a lot to turn around. You're not going to invest an agent's time. You're not going to invest a junior agent's time. You're not going to invest an associate's time. You're not even going to the mailroom upstart base level person's time. You're not going to waste a fucking nickel. If you should have asked this from the point of view of Amanda Nunes, because at this point, what kind of institutional will are you expected to see behind you for your 2 or 3 fights? And that's presuming you hold on to the fucking belt. You might as well have just said, you know, I eat poop and like it, you know, or any other.
Hey, there's a demo for that.
Yeah,
2 girls, 1 championship.
I don't even stop. I'm sorry to have introduced it. So I mean, it's like this was, you know, that phrase that I like to use. How reckless can you get? How reckless can you get? Whoever was advised. I mean, look, it's the same thing with women in the industry, you know, and the whole the chick from the Lean In woman, whatever her name is, from Facebook, you know,
Sheryl Sandberg,
the whole lean in thing. It's like the reality of it is any woman in corporate America knows that she's essentially fundamentally got to fucking lie about her childbirth plans, and fighting is no different, you know. I mean, that's why I know a woman who designed her childbirth plan around the company Christmas party because she didn't want to give away the poker tell of not drinking at the Christmas party, so that people would go, oh, maybe she's going to have a kid and disappear, you know. So, and believe me, nobody in Silicon Valley is disappearing for any length of time at all. What's maternity leave? 3 weeks? Yeah, 3 months.
If you're lucky.
Well, you get a guy called bullshit.
Unpaid.
That'll affect. Yeah, exactly. That'll affect your
Nazis
career.
had better childbirth.
Damn straight. Boom. And Kid Nate for the win in the first 2 minutes. Right. We're done. So I think this was a real bad move on Amanda Nunes' part. And if I'm WME, I go and turn my attentions to, you know, I don't know, Paige Van Sant.
So you don't give her the Jermaine Durand-me Holly Holm winner?
Oh, you do. I mean, you know, she's got to play out her scheme, but you know, if she thought that there was, I mean, at this point now, with Ronda having been summarily dispatched, you know, she would accrue some sort of marketing heft, PR bounce beyond just by virtue of the fact that she's there and she's it. But with shit talk like that, unless she's trying to, you know, militate for higher pay, that was a really stupid thing to do. And if I was WME, it's like, whoa, gift horse, you know. So
what do you think, Nate?
A gift horse, mouth, speculum. I mean, it's gonna go down. It's I didn't say that, by the way.
Whatever you do, don't type in speculum porn, please.
Oh yeah, no, that's I'm just going to pretend that didn't happen either. Yeah, this was just incredibly stupid. She must be getting. Is Tito Ortiz her manager? This is the worst Brazilian woman PR handling since Chris Cyborg. Like, I mean, this is just. They don't even want you there. According to Joe Rogan, there were WME execs backstage at the fights who didn't even know her name during the fight.
Wow.
Right? She's headlining the card, and there are execs there who don't even know her name that night. So they don't want her there. They don't want to be in the Amanda Nunes business. Don't give them the out. This was incredibly stupid. I don't know what you can do from here other than continuing to beat up do-nothing bitches. Is that her? Is that her trademark? I can't remember.
One thing so funny too is you have for her. It's really frustrating being a fan of hers because even when she was begging Miesha Tate, give me my chance, and then when she wins it. And then other fighters like, okay, give us our chance. No. It's like, come on. Oh, you're not promoting me? And then you have your opportunity. Like, yeah, I'm going to retire in 2 fights. Like, come on. Like, and
the thing is, it's not even gender biased because if you show me a male fighter who says, I'm only fighting 2 or 3 more fights, Jack, you're yesterday's man.
Right.
You know?
Unless you're Conor McGregor. And then the offers to not retire just come pouring in.
Well, because nobody believes him, you know.
And they want it's like when Jay-Z's retirement tour. Remember that
one? Or too short. His last record.
Well, when you have
got 16 records out.
The difference with Conor McGregor is the fact of the matter is he already is a draw. So you're not talking about a situation where someone's a draw and you're like, okay, how many more big fights can we get out of them? You're talking about a situation where she's not a draw. So it's like, okay, how many fights do we have to build her up? And we're going to lose her as soon as we do that. So that's the thing is, it's the investment. They had not invested resources in her to justify the play that she pulled. Even if you look at like a GSP or anyone's like, oh, I have a couple of fights left. It's like, okay, but let's see how many top flight pay-per-view hits we can get from this guy. Let's see how much more. Let's try to squeeze as much juice from this lemon as possible. Even if Tito was like, oh, I want 1 more fight, Bellator, 2 more fights. I mean, the fact of the matter is, for that company, he's bringing in eyeballs, he's bringing attention. So you would kind of make moves for this guy, but somebody who you don't want to win and who you haven't invested time in, just total waste. So let's go to let's switch gears here and do a first. Ooh. Nate. You're John Jones and Demetrious Johnson.
How can I be?
Well, just bear with it for a moment.
How can I be 2 champions at once when I'm no champion at all?
Oh.
Poor kid.
Oh, deep.
That's King Nate to you.
No, you're still going back to that again, huh?
I'm drinking the finest.
Well, also, if he has to have the royal we, right? So, UFC Welterweight Champion Tyron Woodley told ESPN he was, quote, the worst treated champion in the history of the UFC, end quote. The reason, quote, if I was a different complexion, people and fans would treat me a different way, end quote. Why should either of you care? Because you were name-checked as the victims of the same racism. Days later, Woodley told Ariel Helwani that the UFC called him. So what you gonna do if Ari Emmanuel and the largest talent agency in the world calls you?
Well, we take their call because Mighty Mouse is a team player. John Jones is a fuck-up on the mend. So they're both going to be just avidly constructive Negroes going forward, and not at all troublemakers like Ferguson. Not at all. I mean,
Ferguson, Jesus Christ, what the
Tyron Woodley's from Ferguson. He's always talking about I'm from Ferguson. So keep.
I thought you were talking about Tony Ferguson.
No.
What have you been drinking? The finest, huh?
He's drinking something.
$4.99 at Trader Joe's, Jack. I'm not kidding around.
Oh,
so
that's pretty sexy.
Yeah, these guys need to stay as far away.
I get my fine wine from Trader Joe's, baby.
Hey, at least I'm not wearing a teal suit. Hey, but these guys need to stay as far away from Tyron Woodley's trash fire of a PR campaign as they possibly could. This is in no way, shape, or form good for them. Mighty Mouse, on the other hand, there might be a percentage for him to get it to pipe up because nobody thinks or talks about Mighty Mouse unless they're enduring one of his fights. And I'm a fan But I mean, anything Mighty Mouse can do to show some personality, I think he could do a heel turn, come out in his MAGA hat, and just go full on Trump, sing the praises of Ari Emmanuel, just go completely shameless. But otherwise, just stay away. Totally stay away. And if you're John Jones, be sober while you're staying away from it. That's.
You see, it's the drink. That's the curse of you people. The drink.
You
okay?
people.
You people. Yes, you know what I mean. You know. So, hey, look. If I'm Demetrious Johnson, or if I'm John Jones, and I get this call, you know, I knew a guy who was an obscene phone answerer. And he'd be sitting around, and somebody say, "Is John there?" And he'd go, "Hold on a second." John's pretty pissed off at you. You know what you did. You know, and hang up the phone. So I think this is the moment at which, if you're a smart, quick-thinking guy, you know, you're WME is calling you, and your name is Johnny Boney Joni, or your name is Demetrious Johnson. You go, I got you, boss. I'll handle it. And you get off the phone and you go to Woodley and go, "Goddamn, Woodley, you're right. They shouldn't treat us this way. We need better treatment. You get out there and tell them. I'm sure it's having an effect." And then Tyron Woodley runs out there, and then he fucks some more shit up, and then they call you and they go and they say, "DJ, Johnny Boy Jr., could you help out?" You go, "God damn it, he's at it again. Look, boss, I'm doing my best. I'll go back and just repeat until he loses, and then they fire him, and then you get known as a company guy. Hey, why do you think I'm wearing a suit?" Oh. This is a time-honored way. What are you gonna? Otherwise, you know, the guy. Hey, you know what the mistake he made? You had your name in your mouth. You know, I did. You opened the door like the obscene phone answer. You opened the door and you said EUGENE'S Robinson, Johnny Boney Joni. I was over here minding my own demented business, and you called me into it. So hey, fuck you, man. And the reality of it is, he has got. I mean, we've gone through this on Knuckle Up before. He's got a legitimate claim. You know, unless you have that kind of Boston Southie, which has been the prevailing kind of guiding principle, the Boston Southie idea of what constitutes all-American, your ass out. Ask Chris Weidman. He's white, and he was treated like shit when he was.
He's a Yankees fan.
Yeah. Hey, if you don't, seriously, if you don't think that had something to do with it, that was one of the things that possibly had something to do with it.
Why does he like Matt Serra so much?
Exactly. Why did he like Matt Serra? And it wasn't transferable to Chris Weidman. You know,
or what you said, Chris Weidman in baseball. Don't never forget, he was sitting next to Kevin James at I think it was a Yankees game, and they had the camera right on, you know, him next to Kevin James. Like, there's Kevin James watching comedian Kevin James, and they say nothing about Chris Weidman when he was a champion. I was like, man, if you're like on Fox, you're on Fox Sports 1, you're on camera, and they don't even know who you are.
I don't know. I mean, Nate maybe has been in this position. Have you? I don't know if you've ever been in that kind of in the penumbra of when somebody's about to go fucking big, and the jungle just starts. You know, I mean, I remember being somewhere and Wes Robinson, a concert promoter in Northern California, and he was telling me, man, you know, these guys in suicidal tendencies, they're gonna break big. I'm hearing stuff, and all of a sudden the jungle starts to whisper the same thing, and I was like, you crazy? Last time I saw them, Mike Muir was so fucking drunk he couldn't stand up. They suck. Those guys will never make it. And then Institutionalized hit, and that was it. Mike has never had to work another fucking day in his life on the back of one song, you know. So when the opposite happens as well, like Alexi just said, you could be sitting. You're champion. You know why that didn't happen? Because several lines of people didn't put you on. They didn't talk to a journalist and go, now this kid Weidman, he's got something. He's got. It takes, and it doesn't take many. You don't have to have 30 people say that. You probably have to. There's probably a number, and that number is somewhere between 5 and 25.
Yeah, and also
you know?
depending on the power that people have. And that's why they said at the end of the day, when people are looking for help and career advice and everything, the traditional suggestions were, oh, you need a mentor. Now, like, no, you need a sponsor. You need someone when you're not in the room. You need someone talking you up.
You know, and I got two names for you. Uriah Faber. Now, you look at what Uriah Faber did in the cage. It wasn't extraordinary. You know, you have to admit. But Uriah Faber's a fucking name. Why? I personally know Uriah Faber is a firm believer in the power of PR. I've made fun of him on my show for it. Like, he shows up to the arena, he's going up to judges, he's going up to refs, he's going up to executives, he's going up to Sean Shelby, and he's got like that iron trap fucking memory. You know, Norman Vincent Peale's. He remembers people's names. Yep. He remembers their kids. He's
the same way.
Fucking glad. Why do you think they got this big send off? There are a dozen of fighters who have the record just like he does. Dozen of fighters have fought fights just as exciting as he does. But Uriah Faber is in Pharrell Williams videos because he's a fucking genius self-promoter and he works it. That's it.
And poor Mike Goldberg, man.
Oh, that picture of Goldberg in the fucking stand.
Don't skip the heel turn. Don't skip the heel turn.
All righty. So, Eugene.
Sir.
You're Chael Sonnen. 2 days after tapping to Tito Ortiz at Bellator 170, you tried to honor the memory of the late WWE Champion Eddie Guerrero on the Celebrity Apprentice by cheating to win. But your teammates tattled on you to the big boss man Arnold Schwarzenegger, who proclaimed, Chael, I know that you think this is a gray area, but in my world, this is not a gray area. I will not tolerate cheaters in my boardroom. You're fired. End quote.
Oh, he didn't say you're terminated?
It's Celebrity Apprentice. He's got to use Trump's tagline. Come on.
No. The deal was he was supposed to use his own, which was you're terminated.
Well, maybe so. Alexi, you blew it.
No, that was my understanding. I don't watch the show, but
see, okay. Yeah, he doesn't watch the show, but he knows.
There we go. So anyway, Chael explained to us how you keep on winning by losing.
Hey, man. Hey, how many people have been on Celebrity Apprentice and won?
6. I don't know. How many seasons have there been?
How many of those 6 do you know outside of Amorosa?
None. Okay. I know none, but I don't watch the show or any shows. So
okay, let's go back to MTV's Real World. There were tons of those. How many of those? You're getting where I'm going with this.
The black guy that was the first black radical in the history of the earth, or at least on cable television.
Kevin Powell.
That prick. That prick chart.
Donna Shalala. We've all heard.
I say the word prick, and you Donna Shalala.
I know.
No. Overruled.
You cannot overrule.
It's not been mentioned on this show. Go on ahead.
I can't say a single word to you, Donna Shalala. A single word. What the hell is that? I was just going to give a sentence. Let me get to the period. That prick challenged me to a fight. That's it. Kevin Powell. I said, you let me know where you're going to be, and I will fly anywhere. I'll be seeing you somewhere. When you do, right now, I will fly anywhere to see you so we can have that conversation.
You know that dude's like my size, right? Like,
no, he's not.
Yeah, he's not a big dude.
No, he's not. He's 6 feet tall.
He's a lanky dude. Well, he was lanky before the eating.
Really?
Yeah, exactly.
I thought that dude was little.
No,
now I don't even like him anymore.
Yeah. All right, so let's get back. Let's focus.
So winning by losing.
I was talking about Kevin Bacon.
Oh, Kevin Bacon. No, he's friends with a friend of mine. But anyway, so I got 2 degrees with Kevin Bacon. But so I'm Chael, man. This is working out great for him. The felony thing comes up smelling like roses. He's a commentator. He's a headliner. He is the modern day equivalent of Wes Sims. I never saw that guy win a fight, and he was a perennial crowd favorite.
Wes Sims. He just had this likable quality about him.
He lived under a bridge.
He in the end, he ended up living under a bridge. And even when it was discussed,
I gotta break in. The fans are saying normally Arnold says you're terminated, but for Chael, he did say you're fired. So you're both right.
There you go.
Hey.
All right.
Beautiful moment.
So even when it was discovered that Wes Sims was under a bridge, he came out smelling like a rose. Somebody was like, they pulled him out of under his troll status under the bridge, And so I think that it's working for Chael, and I just keep doing what you're doing, baby. Because we all know the days of Chael winning much of anything are gone. So why not, man? Look at Bob Sapp. We now have created a new part of the knuckle up vocabulary, and that if somebody
break down Bob Sapp for those people who
Bob Sapp is related to Warren Sapp. He's a huge, like 300-pound, 6'5" African American MMA fighter. And he fights in Japan and has been known on multiple occasions to lose fights in 30 seconds from blows that would not, I dare say, hurt many
Kevin
people.
Powell.
Yeah, Kevin Powell. There you go. And yet he's on school lunch boxes and bento boxes in Japan, huge billboards. As for Toshiba, he is a mega star in Japan, which I believe last he was living in Washington State and commuting back and forth to Japan, but I think he was living
he's taking the show all over the world, though. It's not just Japan. He's in different countries. So why does he? What's the thing? Tell the listeners who don't know, like, why
in the Japanese mindset. You keep in mind this is a country where sumo is still pretty large. The fact that he's big and imposing, and he's African American, and he's.
But why does he not last long in fights? That's what I mean. Why does he not last long in fights?
Because Krokop broke his face. That's why.
Yep.
And he gets, the first time anybody gets near his face with the fist, he falls over and taps.
And he says the reason is, well, you said on Knuckle Up, Eugene. The reason is, he's like, I get paid regardless.
Yeah.
So why am I going to take damage when I could, as soon as I get a hint of trouble, I'm done. Yeah. And I'm collecting my paycheck, and I'm moving on to the next gig. Right? And guess what? I will watch Bob Sapp fight. I won't pay for it.
Yep. Well, he's got that great photo with him and Ricardo Arona, where he's got essentially Arona stick figured his arms are where his legs should be, and his legs are where his arms should be, and his body looks like a big X that's about to be pile driven into the ground. You know what? I'm convinced that grunge was created because of that great photo off of the cover of Touch Me, I'm Sick, Mudhoney's record, where Mark Arm is like playing and his hair is flying all over. This came right around the time that like Black Flag started to get weird and kind of grow their hair kind of long. And then this weird
that
shit
was like
out of
3 years earlier, 4 years earlier.
Yeah,
Black Flag.
Yes, so Black Flag would start doing this shit at the 85, right? So 85.
It's too early, and people weren't ready for it.
They weren't ready for it, but then all of a sudden, that photo, I haven't even listened to that record by the time I knew who they were because of that photo. So Bob Sapp is become a brand, and it's a powerful brand that pays. He's not going to work every day. He's not getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning every day.
You got to get up early to make those international flights, Eugene.
Yeah, that's if he still lives in Washington State, man.
Yeah,
and I'm sure. Yeah, don't. So Chael is. I mean, considering
he's
that
on that path.
What? And like I said on Knuckle Up, dude's not an employee of Bellator. He's co-owner.
What's your take, Nate?
I want to know did Chael really promise his dad that he was going to beat Tito Ortiz and take the title on his dad's deathbed? That was some shameless shit right there, because I'm willing to bet he said no such thing.
He should say it before every fight. Before every fight, he should do a variation.
That would be so fucking great.
And he should be the next Bob Sapp, because you know what? I'll still watch him. I think he's entertaining. Will he ever win a fight? I think that's a great.
He wants Wanderlei next, and I think he'll drive Wanderlei ape shit. Like, I cannot wait to see Chael poking that bear, because Wanderlei, zero self-awareness.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, though. It doesn't matter, because he'll go out and he'll get sapped. I mean, the thing about Bob Sapp that is like scarily pathetic is that, it's like, guy falls over. That's it. I'm tapping. Fuck you. My check. I mean, Caleb Starnes got yanked for fucking worse than that, but whatever.
Well, people are paying to see Bob Sapp. It's like Chuck Berry showing up at the show with, I need my cash money up front. Yep. have a pickup band and an amplifier. I plug in my guitar. I play. Doesn't matter how shitty the band is.
I tell you what. I had a friend who was in Chuck Berry's pickup band. I tell you what happened. He there's like Chuck Berry walks on stage, plugs in. He goes, "What?" Like just thinking about set list. He goes, "What songs are we gonna play?" Chuck looks at him and goes, "Chuck Berry songs." It's like, you had one job, fucker. Play, He's still cranky.
They're all in E in 4/4 time. Just
there you go. Just fucking
and they all
catch
pretty
up.
much have the blues changes. Like it's not that hard. But
and then a friend was at a Chuck Berry show, and the pickup band, the bass player was getting a little too into it. He's looking at the girls in the audience. He's doing the kind of hoochie coochie day. Chuck Berry looks at him once, tries to get his eye, can't get his eye. Chuck Berry looks at him again and kind of strolls over to the guy's bass, unplugs it, it goes, bye-bye. Fired on stage. I mean, you may have gotten fired before, but I would venture a guess that nobody's come over to your desk and pulled a pen out of your hand and gone,
nobody ever duck walked you right out of the office.
That's right.
So for Chael, for you, Nate, do you
keep
agree?
doing what you're doing, baby, because it's working. It's gold. I mean, this, like people are saying in the comments on the live chat, getting fired, it's not like he was going to win the show anyway. So now he's getting headlines, and it syncs with his brand. I mean, I think getting convicted for pleading guilty to that felony really did turn Chael around. It really crystallized who he was. He has nothing to lose. He's not going to be a state senator or whatever full idea he had in his head. He's a carny and a con man and a charade and a farce, and he's shameless and apparently has no memory. Though, the thing about Chael, though, he's one of the few fighters that has ever gone out of his way to contact me in a positive way. And I did some analysis of Chael's insane, Blagojevich or delay style post-truth rhetoric back in the Anderson Silva days. And Chael would write me the nicest notes. I'd be talking about, this is a convicted felon, never believe a thing says. Chael would be like, great story, man. It's like, I love Chael,
Yep.
I mean,
well, one person who's not receiving the love, Nate, you're Jerry Rice.
Ooh.
As if claiming all lives matter wasn't enough to lose credibility amongst Black Twitter, you by wearing a Popeyes chicken helmet and playing into the stereotype of a black man obsessed with finger-licking chicken. Tell us how this fits into your grand PR plan. Are you angling for a spot in the Trump administration, or is this your attempt at making minstrel shows great again?
I can't feel this on behalf of Mr. Rice. I got to take this as Popeyes, okay? I mean, look at me. It's like,
all right, I'll take the Mr.
the
Rice
white
thing.
people were who wrote that script, who came up with that concept. Do you know who eats Popeye's chicken, fools? Black people. Black people love Popeyes. Are you insane? You don't shit on your fucking target demo like this. This is just and you hire somebody like Jerry Rice and you at least assume, okay, we've got a black person here. He'll tell us if this is stupid, right? Like, I mean, come on, Eugene. If you showed up to work with me and I said, here's the deal, it's going to be great. Put on this helmet. And we've got, I mean, you'd slap, right? You'd have the self-respect to slap somebody and say, no.
How big is the check?
Well,
yeah, he's correctly channeled Eugene Robinson. Oh, for that amount of money. Hey, Mr. Bones.
You see, if we can't laugh at ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, Popeyes needs to make this right. I don't think Jerry Rice can be rehabbed. Like, I don't think you recover from this foolishness, but
right. Well, okay, so you asked if you're Jerry Rice, right? So
yes.
he answered as Papa. Look, Jerry. I had the benefit of sitting behind Jerry Rice at a small local fight show put on by Scott Coker, and one of the things I thought that was most noteworthy about Jerry Rice was this kind of weird Jerry Rice-esque arrogance, right? Which I thought, wow, he always seemed like such a normal, easy guy, but he was like, kind of courtly and not in a bad way, because he's in Redwood City, it's Jerry Rice. And then he calls the waitress over, he kind of raises his hand, and Jerry Rice's hands were like Tito's fucking head. I don't know if you've ever met Tito Ortiz in person, but he has the largest cranium of any human being I've ever met, and I'm 54 fucking years old. Right?
HGH.
Jerry,
HGH.
hey, and I've met guys on HGH as well. So Jerry's hands were huge. That being said, it's tough being a fucking excellent. Pull your headset a little bit out from your mouth. Okay, you told me
If
not
you're
to
gonna
touch
say
it.
I would just say it to
He
you.
was recreating
You
the
just
chicken
say-
eating helmet.
Exactly. I mean, is that better?
It's a little better. I'll tell
that-
you.
okay.
Start.
All right. So with Jerry Rice, I mean, there's another story here, and the story is past
so far,
celebrity.
To sum up what we've done so far, Jerry Rice has very big hands. This is your.
Well, I was laughing uncontrollably at the beginning of the segment because you have to actually look at the picture of him in the helmet. And look, I'm one of those guys. If there's a check, I'll do a lot. Right. The number one thing that his agent, and I feel like Charlie, like Marlon Brando in the back of that limo and on the waterfront, the number one thing he should have looked out for him a little bit. The guy's wearing the fucking helmet that conceals his fucking face. It could just be any generic Negro, you have to then subsequently tell people it's Jerry. Okay, Jerry Rice, football helmet, I got it. But you have to kind of tell people that it's Jerry Rice because it conceals his fucking face. This is bad. You should fire your manager, fire your agent, fire whoever got you into that fucking helmet. And if you're internal...
It's called the taste mask.
Right. And you know what?
Why didn't they say this for the Super Bowl ads?
Look. I've had agents. I got a SAG card. I've been to Hollywood. They've asked me to do shit that was fucked up, and you know what I said? I'm not doing that. Several times I got booted off of a set of a movie because I exchanged words with some fucking assistant director. I go, it's fucking stupid. I'm not doing it. Whatever. Okay, well, you can go now. Great. Where do I sign out? Fuck you. Jerry. He's sitting at home. Nobody's calling. He's got no TV commentating gigs. The number of women that he's able to impress with. I used to be Jerry Rice. No, the 49ers. Well, no, I played in the Super Bowl. Well, no, with Joe Montana. Oh, he was a quarter. The shit starts to get windy. It gets windy. It starts to feel Lost Battalion-y
As
out there.
opposed to, I'm that guy with the chicken helmet.
Well, hey,
I got
baby.
a lifetime supply of Popeye's chicken to show for it.
This professional fighter that I once knew who was a horn dog, some woman had been giving him the high hand, and then he's climbed to the top. She goes, "Oh, Jake, I really want to see you." And he goes, "You want to see me?" She goes, "Yeah, it'd just be so great to see you." He goes, "I'm on TV on Saturday. You can see me then." Click.
Burn. But nobody's talking about the sauce dome. Did you realize it wasn't just the taste mask? They also put him in a hat with a bunch of sauces on it called the sauce dome. And that's, Lord, I guess, less racist, but still stupid.
Yeah, I don't. Well, if I'm Jerry Rice, I fire my entire management team, my agent, fire them all. They weren't doing shit anyway, and I would wait for the worm to turn, and maybe some point, Old Timers Day, they call you and you can get out there without the chicken mask. But on the other hand, I would say, if it was EUGENE'S Robinson, I would say I'll go out in the chicken helmet if you make me a chicken bra and if you make me a chicken skirt, and with the what do you call it, the leg drums? What is it?
Drumsticks.
With a little drumstick skirt, and then you make me a little use a turkey neck penis, and then I'll be glad to do a commercial for you.
All right.
What?
Well,
we got a theme here, man. This is working.
Career advice for the man whose biggest credit is Leonard Part 6.
One guy who's working.
That should tell you something.
Eugene,
my inability to play along.
You're Rick Perry.
Yeah.
When you were asked to be President Trump's Secretary of Energy, you allegedly misunderstood what that meant. Instead of dealing with oil and gas, you'll be responsible for overseeing our nuclear weapons policy, stockpiles, and waste.
Oh, yeah.
Tasks above and beyond what you've ever done. According to New York Times, your, quote, qualifications to oversee a muscular renovation or expansion of the nation's nuclear weapons complex are expected to be among the chief topics of questioning, end quote, at your confirmation hearing. How do you plan to convince a skeptical Senate confirmation committee that voting for you live and in public, if you will, may be risky business, but you are a nuclear bull of the woods and a cold, bloody sausage maker?
No. Fuck that, man. Fuck that. This is a page where somebody goes up to him and whispers into his ear. You know what they whisper into his ear? They go, hey, man, hey, Joe Lazon. And he would like ask somebody, what does that mean, Joe Lazon? Joe Lazon is a guy who they just said he won the fight. And then after they said he won the fight, he goes, I disagree with that decision 100%. Joe Lazon is a man. I don't follow you. You get in front of that fucking committee and say, I am not worthy. If nominated, I will not serve. You know, but this is not about abilities.
Get voted in on a landslide.
This is not about abilities. This is about who the fuck is FaceTiming me now. This is not about some moron is FaceTiming me. This is not about abilities. This is about ego, right? Fuck that, man. You know what's damaging to your ego? Not being able to do the job that completely fucks up our nuclear capabilities. How does that make sense? How does that make sense?
So what do you do, Nate?
First off, that story was bullshit. The New York Times was quoting somebody who'd been fired from Trump World ages before Rick Perry got the nomination. I think they had to retract. So I can't believe I'm defending Rick Perry here, but he's a victim of bad reporting. Apparently, when he does cycle out of the pain pills, he remembers he knew what the Department of Energy was supposed to be doing. That's why he wanted to kill it as part of his platform. But I still think picking Rick Perry was a sick joke on the part of somebody within the Trump transition team. I mean, picking the guy who said he was going to eliminate 3 government agencies and could only remember 2 of them and not the Department of Energy, which was the 3rd one he had said, that was just a joke. But it's a cosmic joke they're playing on the American people, and I think it's brilliant. And Perry, he's just happy to be working. I mean, this is a guy who came out as the first Republican candidate for president who was going to stop Trump. And now, you know, and then he turned. Unlike Ted Cruz, Perry got the message quick and got on board Team Trump. And he's been rewarded for it in a humiliating fashion.
I should ask you. You're a Texas native. I mean, could you conceivably 7th generation? Could you conceivably,
but otherwise,
could you conceivably live comfortably in Texas on what you imagine Perry's made?
Oh, Perry grafted his ass off. Perry made a fortune while he was in office.
So he doesn't need to work, right?
Not for the money, but it's the ooh and the ah. I mean, if you've ever seen Rick Perry swaggering around, shaking hands.
He has to show off those glasses.
You mean he's trying to stay out of the chicken helmet?
Nobody asked him to put it on. You know, Rick Perry had a little inward controversy of his own back in the day. But
I remember his nigga head property.
Toe.
Oh, no, sorry.
Well, maybe it was head, but I think it was toe. I mean, I think that was all pretty stupid. It's like, it's not the guy's fault that people in his area called this some slur many years ago. But
well, he could have changed it, you know.
Well, you know, but I mean, you know,
I was driving outside of Paris and I look at this thing. It's called Juville, and I say to my French friend, I go, "Hey, Juville," and he goes, "Yes." I was like, "Come on, man, come on, what the hell?" It's a tribute, huh? Let's talk to Vichy about that tribute.
They do anti-Semitism with elan and verve. Ebrio, I believe, would be. So I'm done with Rick Perry. I mean, there's nothing. The guy doesn't care. The guy is so doped, allegedly, on pain pills. He doesn't give a fuck. He's in the cabinet, Jack.
You have to understand what Trump has done. You know, I mean, I got the highest IQ cabinet of anybody who's here. It's eminently satisfying for him to have all these smarties jumping at his nuts, you know. And really, it's the damaged smart ones. It's like if you got anything going on, you're like, you know what? I'll sit this one out, yo.
Well, speaking about sitting something out, Nate, you're Hillary Clinton. After winning the popular vote and despite declaring a Donald Trump presidency to be a sign of the apocalypse, you stood by your man Bill and attended the Trump inauguration. Strangely, you didn't attend the Women's March on Washington or any of its sister marches, which many would argue were held partially in your honor. Instead, you tweeted support of the march, quote, scrolling through images of the hashtag Women's March is awe-inspiring. Hope it brought joy to others as it did to me, end quote. And later, quote, we have to keep the momentum, end quote. Was that a royal we, or do you have something else in mind?
Who knows? Who cares? I think Hillary was at the big David Brock fundraiser, big kahuna party that they had. So dozens of Democratic leaders skipped the march so that they could suck up to rich people in Florida. And so, you know, the Clintons were there. I mean, this is the water they swim in. This is money, politics. These people put it together epically with a CH. I mean, these guys.
Bigly, man.
Bigly. Totes bigly. I mean, the Clintons invented corrupt Democratic politics in the modern era. Not old school paper bag money like Tip O'Neill, et cetera, but modern day, big time, legalized bribery, corporate style. That's where she was, and that's where she's going to continue to be. I mean, all these newspaper articles you're reading about Hillary's going to do this, Hillary's going to do that, that's just because there are too many people who used to work for Hillary Clinton who have great connections with the media and nothing to do. And they're still getting phone calls from their reporter buddies that are asking them what's up. And I guarantee you half the time they have no fucking idea because the Clintons jettisoned all those useless people once they knew they weren't going to be president anymore. So people are just talking out of their ass. And the media, you know, you get one source to say Hillary might run for mayor of New York. Boom, you got a headline, you got a story, you doing your job. So just pay no mind to the small woman walking alone in the woods.
What's your take, Eugene?
Well, I'm going to build on that. I'm not going to relitigate it. But what I'm more disturbed by, and I have to tell you, you know, they say that when you watch somebody do something badly, that you get angry and frustrated because your brain is doing it like you're doing it badly. So you kind of, that's why, you know, no, come on, you get frustrated when you're trying to teach somebody how to drive or try to do anything. And I'm hearing the cry, man. I'm sitting there as a long-time lefty. I'm sitting in and I'm watching them, and it's like, God damn it, you know. 10 years ago, I told sports agent extraordinaire Salvatore Russo, I said, how come nobody's using anytime somebody comes up with a statement running for it the first time Obama ran, the response should be, what about America? Well, we want to go, and what about America? And of course, I got distracted because Russo came back with, I got a better one. I go, what's that? He goes, what about me? And I thought, okay, that is probably pretty good, you know, but the shadows of Al Franken. But I was like thinking, I would sell this to a candidate. No candidate came by it. No candidate, I was shopping for it. And Donald Trump wins the presidency essentially saying, what about America? You know, so now I'm sitting around, I'm watching the stumbling, bumbling, you know, left. There's people hit the streets, millions of people, 4.8 million worldwide. There were people protesting in fucking Russia. And you're hanging out with money people who do not give a fuck about you except to throw you a few bones here and there just in the off chance that you take another run at things. Get the fuck out of here. You know, you need a person of the streets. You need a 75-year-old Jewish guy from Brooklyn. You know, you could do a step better than that. You need a straight talking guy, and that guy could be me. You won't catch me out there. I'll be out there in the streets with the little guy. As long as that little guy's not paying such close attention, he will see me there in the streets with him. You know.
While you're being presidential, Eugene,
Somebody's got to do it. I mean, I can't believe that. Oh, what did we do wrong? What did we do wrong? What did you do? It's like there was a Filipino guy who at a family outing started stabbing his family members, and he was reported as running through the gathering, screaming as he stabbed, "What have I done? What have I done?" Dude, man, you're having problems with tense. It's not what have I done, it's what am I doing? So the Democratic Party is like, oh, what have we done? What are you doing? Where the fuck are you, man? 4.8 million people worldwide, and you're at a fucking some golf fucking thing with some rich kids.
You don't think she was just eating the treats or, having there was like,
I'm not
oh,
saying
maybe I should have been, oh, I didn't know it'd be so big. Oh, can you pass another one? Damn.
I'm not even saying she.
I could have gone. I didn't even have to go to DC. I could have gone right down the street and been at a.
Yeah, they could have stepped out of the resort and done it in Miami. I mean,
I could have. Don't you have one of those cameras, Huma, that I could, you can. What?
I think Huma's been retired.
Body time. Actually. What is it? Face. What do you call that thing? Yeah.
And this can't be blamed on the bubble. It can't be blamed on the bubble. It is that consistent and constant pull to do the wrong thing at the right time.
Yep.
Now, here's the shame of it, though. Both Tom Perez and Keith Ellison were at this thing instead of at the march. Both of the candidates for the DNC chair were at this fundraiser instead of the march, and that makes sense because these donors are the people that are going to decide who's going to be the DNC. But still, man, I mean,
well, you know what those donors would notice too? They would notice a few headlines.
Yeah, if Keith Ellison had gone to the march and called out, "Where's Tom Perez now?" and said, "Assholes at the donor meeting, check and mate." It's like when Kurt Cobain blew his head off, Eddie Vedder's career just went whoo. But
really?
Yeah, it did.
No.
Cobain won that totally.
No, you got that completely wrong.
Now,
how much money did? Really? How much money? All we have to do is
honor. That's what's been killing Eddie Vedder ever since.
All we have. Let's look at
how many 17-year-olds have Eddie Vedder's face on their T-shirts.
How? Okay, here I go.
Zipped.
How good? That doesn't make a fucking. You think it makes a difference to
That's
that guy?
Glory, Eugene, glory.
The Eddie Vedder's at home. $100 bills going on.
Money showers.
What you would do if you were Eddie Vedder. That's what
and then let's look at the Foo Fighters. I've made outside of "Here Comes My Hero," "Watch Him As He Falls." That's the only song they got that's worth a good goddamn. These guys are fucking huge. And keep in mind, Dave Grohl. I mean, Whipping Boy played with Scream a bunch. So this is a guy like I fucking know.
Here's where Dave Grohl is now. When Paul McCartney decides he wants to get Ringo Starr in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, he calls Bruce Springsteen, Jan Winter, and Dave Grohl.
Yeah, or Jan Winter.
Whatever. Yeah.
Well, speaking of huge, Eugene,
I live for that.
You're U.S. President Donald Trump.
Oh yes.
During the Women's March, Madonna was not crazy for you. The Material Girl mentioned thinking a lot about blowing up the White House, but later claimed she was just speaking a metaphor. That wasn't enough for former House Speaker Newt Gingrich, who yesterday told Fox and Friends that Madonna represents an emerging left-wing fascism. His advice, quote, "Frankly, the truth is she ought to be arrested for saying she has thought about blowing up the White House," end quote.
Oh, really?
Since your presidential experience is like a virgin, how do you express yourself?
Oh, if I'm Madonna at this point,
You're Trump. You're Trump.
Oh, I'm sorry, you guy. He doubled back on me. He jiu-jitsu me that last
You
second.
guys were dying to put on your Madonna bra. I know you got it.
Live in the material world. No, first of all, what Trump should do, man, that's a whole nother show. That's in fact, we should have a Trump fucking special because the guy is a walking, talking fucking PR disaster. He himself is a walking, talking. I don't know if you read the Washington Post piece about the post inauguration shit, and he's stewing, and his staff is trying to keep him away from the TV, and he finally gets the TV, and he's like boiling over, and he's like, oh my God, he's gonna, and then the Mount Vesuvius blows, and he's on the fucking Twitter. He runs dude out in a shitty suit, complains about the suit. He's barking at his wife to shut the fuck up right at the inauguration. She's clapping, trying to enjoy, have a good moment. This guy's a fucking disaster, man. He is. what is that thing from Taxi Driver when he's trying to pick up Sybil Shepherd and Albert
porn movie?
No, Albert Brooks is like trying to interfere, and he says, "Look, it's kind of hard coming in here asking this, and he just, my coworker, he says, yeah, he puts his energy in all the wrong places." It's pretty clear. So how does he respond to Madonna? He should, if it's me as Donald Trump, I remember that Jesse Helms said some out and out seditious shit about Bill Clinton coming down to North Carolina. Shit he should have been arrested for, as have the Republicans for the last 8 years. Should have all been arrested for. If I'm him, I just shrug and I go back to doing what I was doing before, which was loading the trucks up with cash that I'm going to send to all my friends.
Man,
the fact that you could tell the guy's a billionaire because he hasn't really addressed this. He's gone from, and somebody says, oh, he's picking these fights to strategic because he covers his ass, because you see he's doing this shit with the pipeline, and the people are thinking about Meryl Streep and whatever, man. I don't think that's the case. I think his staff is doing this shit sotto voce, but I think he is as emotionally invested in these things. It's like, why do the cool kids not like me? And that's going to be the fucking name of that game for another 4 fucking years, or until he gets impeached.
Man, what do you think, Nate?
He's not going to get impeached anytime soon. And the thing is, all this hoo-ha and bullshit, and it is amazing. The guy is like already, his starting point is where Nixon was in the darkest days of Watergate. Like when Dan Aykroyd would do these, and Belushi would do those sketches of crazy Nixon and crazy Kissinger getting on their knees and praying in the White House and stuff.
I remember that. It was great.
Day one, Trump is already that kind of crazy.
Yep.
But it doesn't make a shit, because over about 48% of the country doesn't believe anything they read in the media anyway. But they're getting their Breitbart, and they're hearing, whoa, presidential order on abortion. Whoa, presidential order banning immigration from Muslim countries. Whoa, pipeline going through. I mean, dude should have Madonna arrested. Like, I honestly think you can do it. Obama had shit tons of people arrested for saying shit like that, because it's illegal to threaten the fucking president of the United States. But I think first he needs to focus on busting some of these leakers at the CIA. Michael Flynn has a long list, and Pompeo has a long list, starting with Brennan, of assholes they suspect of leaking stuff to the press. And Obama prosecuted more whistleblowers than every president combined, with some asshole law from Woodrow Wilson's days, the Espionage Act. Team Trump is just dying to use that shit. And if they can connect it, if they can prove that Obama leaked some shit to the press that was classified, prosecute him too, man. Show trials are where it's at in the Trump era.
Wow, really?
And,
hey, the last guy who fought with the CIA, you know who that was?
Every president's fought with the CIA.
That was John F. Kennedy.
Yeah. The CIA ain't what it used to be. Dick Cheney used him as a fucking sock puppet, put his hand right up their ass. And these guys, they clown themselves with the Putin. No, Putin stole the election. Putin stole the election. We've got proof. Oh, well, it's not actually proof, but we did say it, and a lot of idiots believed it. That's not fucking proof.
Oh,
and
no.
The
guy from the MI6 who's like hiding. He's the one with the PP video. He's the one with the PP video.
The guy who runs shit Roger Stone deliberately planted in his report. I mean, they do this on purpose. They do this shit on purpose. Like,
this guy's holding out for cash.
Look into the downfall of Dan Rather, okay? Dan Rather goes on 60 Minutes with a fucking smoking hot story. He gets a former lieutenant governor of Texas to say on camera, on the record, yes, Pappy Bush came to me and asked me to get his son in the National Guard. I pulled strings to do it. But they had to gild the lily and get some paperwork from the National Guard headquarters. One of these documents, which I believe is still substantively true, but like minutes after the show is over, people are coming out, that document couldn't possibly have been typed in 1973. Look at the font. And it's like, fucking Karl Rove. This is my theory. This is alleged, but this is, I believe, to be true.
You mean my friend Karl? My friend Karl
watch
Rove?
what you're saying, man.
Yeah, Rove had the documents destroyed. They went through the documents of the National Guard headquarters thoroughly while Bush was the governor of Texas. And there's a lot of documentation that documents went in, documents didn't come out. But somebody produced forgeries of real documents. this is a great way to burn a reporter because he's not going to be investigating the provenance of the piece of paper. He's going to be investigating the provenance of the charges on the piece of paper. The story checked out. People confirmed, yeah, that's what happened. But nobody confirmed that this piece of paper was the actual piece of paper. So the day the story goes out, boom, there's all these people who later turn out to be high-ranking Republican operatives who get online and are immediately saying, the typeface wasn't available on the Selectric 3 in 1973. And boom, 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 2 weeks later, Rather's gone, man. That's the level of rat fuckers we're dealing with. Roger Stone's been doing this shit. He taught Karl Rove how to do this shit. And Trump is just distracting people with nonsense, embarrassing nonsense. And meanwhile, he's signing executive orders and he's making appointments and he's pulling shit. Like, watch what he does, not what he says. Because what he says is always going to be a shit show. It's a shit show on purpose. I once saw a stuttering 3-card Monty guy. And at first I was like, this guy's the worst fucking 3-card Monty guy I've ever seen. Because he looked like such a jackass. The crowd was huge, and they got fleeced. Yep. The guy was actually the best 3-card Monty guy I've ever seen. That's what Trump is doing.
Sounds like Usual Suspects to me. What was that guy's name? Kent?
Kaiser Soze.
Oh, yeah,
well, that brings us to our teachable moment. Nate, your White House press secretary, Sean Spicer.
Get a new suit, fool. Oh, sorry.
At your first press conference for your new job, you ranted about how the press had the wrong prez on Twitter, calling the few who bothered to attend Friday's festivities, quote, the largest audience to witness inauguration, period, end quote. The official estimate, 250,000 Trump attendees in 2017, 1.8 million for Obama in 2009. President Trump's counselor, Kellyanne Conway, failed to convince anyone that you were offering alternative facts instead of lies. What PR adjustments can you make to become a more effective parrot for the president?
Me or Eugene?
You, Nate.
Dude's days are numbered. Trump's already calling him out. Doesn't he have a dark suit? Like, I mean, the guy's not suited for the role. Trump needs somebody. Remember Ari Fleischer? Now, that guy could do the job. Ari Fleischer was like one of these Jewish guys that would be the spokesman for the Polish communist government back in the 70s. They would always pick the most stereotypical looking Jewish guy to trot out there and just say the most ridiculous, heinous shit with a grin on his face. Like Ari Fleischer would practically go after every press conference. And that's what they need. They need somebody who's like, yeah, here's the truth. Here's my ass. I'm wiping air. Have some, you know, like the old man in that M. Night Shyamalan movie that rubs the dirty diaper in the kid's face. I mean, that's what they need. Just here's a hot steaming load. Eat it. And Spicer's heart's not in it, man. Dude's days are numbered. He's like that fat kid that was Bush's last spokesman. I mean, get a real ass.
Well, it was said that he wanted Conway to Kellyanne Conway, and I think she would probably make it better. She's been pretty masterful.
But supposedly, did you hear they put her on the second floor? And they're saying, and that's where one of Obama's chief people was. And people were like, oh, that must be a good office. And they were like, Trump's not walking up the stairs. Yeah,
Trump wouldn't walk to her office if he was on the first floor. That's what they're making a big mistake with her. She can walk, you know. So she's gonna sit there and wait. Nah. Funny, if you watched him at all, you know, fundamentally he feels more comfortable with women.
He's a lady. Are you saying he's a ladies' man?
Not saying that at all. Say he feels more comfortable with women. There's, you know.
Because he can. No, never mind. Just kidding.
Yes, yeah, because he's bullying them, you know, and he doesn't feel bad about bullying them.
Well, Kellyanne Conway just roughed up. You buying that story about her beating up?
Yes, of course I buy it. Yes, you know, it was our editorial meeting this morning. It was top there. People were like trying to do some journalistic thing in line with what Kid Nate was just talking about with Dan Rather. Well, we don't know. I was like, I know. Well, you know, we need a better standard than that. I'm telling you, that's my standard.
Eugene says.
Eugene says. That's all you got to know.
The Frog's poking out from behind your fight sign.
Hey, next time I hear Pepe the Frog, it's inevitable that somebody gets a punch in the face. So turn
around.
Man, I love that video. I've watched that video, and now that video is neck and neck with my watching of the Danzig knockout video. I'm like, you know.
I like the remixes too.
Yo, man, every time I get a little sad, a little down, where's that Richard Spencer? born in the U.S. and he's like, I can take a punch. I told you, you don't have to worry about these armchair fucks. These guys are like Dungeons and Dragons players. These guys are nothing. They have no organization.
Don't be chaotic neutral.
Like Kid Nate and I attested, man. You want to be nervous about something. Skinheads back in the 80s. That was something to be a little bit nervous about. They had organization. This guy is just a guy with a haircut, man. You know, where were his Praetorian guards?
Exactly.
The trumpet signals Kid Nate's heel turn.
I got two this week. First and foremost, Dana White disses Goldberg and doesn't even give him a call. Not only do they not give the man who's been the announcer, the voice of the UFC for 20 years, before Zuffa even came on the scene, they don't give him any special send-off. They don't give him, a highlight reel, nothing. Just cold ice, serve out your contract and go. But Dana White, the guy who's been his boss for 18 of those 20 years, didn't even give him a phone call. Like, that's just shitty. I mean, it's just like he did Chuck and Matt Hughes and all these other guys. It's just like ice cold. But the one I really want, the one that's close to my heart, we had a major loss today. Lee O'Donnell, known as Q, the founder of World Star Hip Hop, keels over in a massage parlor, 5 p.m. in the afternoon. I mean, another obese young black man dies of a heart attack. It's fucking killing me. I mean, and this guy, you can say what you want about World Star Hip Hop. This guy lived the fucking American dream, man. I mean, I've wiled away hours and hours of self-hatred on World Star Hip Hop. And this, he provides a real window into a part of America that is not seen anywhere else. And he got corporate sponsors. Like, this guy was making bank. It's institutional racism, I think. It's companies like Walmart. They're like, yeah, we'll advertise on this hideous, abhorrent cyst of poison and noxious crap because black people are terrible. So we'll just, they buy our shit too. We don't care.
We heard that line in The Godfather. They're animals. Let them kill themselves.
Exactly. And so this guy, though, played the system against itself and had his own personal, privately owned media empire, didn't give a fuck about anything, including diet and exercise, and here we are. So,
man,
maybe Jerry Rice can show up at his funeral with that fucking helmet on.
And get punched, and it'll be the biggest video of the day on World Star Hip Hop.
Right. Sad story. In a massage parlor. Fuck.
Happy ending.
Man. Time for Eugene's Lost Battalion, Eugene.
I hadn't intended to do non-sports figures, but I think I again, if you haven't seen the image, Jerry Rice in the helmet, I suggest you fucking look at it. Jerry is fucking fully Lost Battalion. Because, even my talk that was semi-encouraging that he should fire his media team, it doesn't change the fact that the hole in which he finds himself, he's got no native base of support. He's got no fucking on-camera charisma. He's got no gift of gab that would qualify him as a commentator. He can't write, I'm guessing, because otherwise we would have seen that. The guy is as fucking lost can be. And there's a whole category of cats who are in that same place. And you just have to, I have a friend who played in several Super Bowls, right? He played for Chicago Bears, 49ers, a couple of teams, was a wide receiver as well, right? And you know what he does now? No. It's Ken Marjoram. He coaches he coaches kids basketball football team. His
Mike
wife,
Singletary. Yep.
His wife is a track and field coach. He's a kid.
Not the fridge.
The fuck are you? What's the matter with you? What's the matter for you? So I mean, you just have to. It's tough, man. This is Nathaniel West, Day of the Locust. This is the narcotic of fucking fame, man. It like the Bowie song says, it'll make you do crazy things. I mean, but it makes you believe that after wearing a drumstick chicken helmet with sauce on it, that with a sauce dome on it, that we should still be talking about you in a serious way. That's what a narcotic it is. So Jerry Rice is hang out for. I mean, the thing is, he's in.
I'm
great
open.
shape.
I'm open. I'm open.
Yeah,
in the mist.
He didn't want. And the thing is, that was terrible. Is he didn't want to retire the way he. I mean, he was like kicking and screaming that kind of retirement, and
that's
like
right.
playing for other teams and sitting on the bench for half the games. Like, I'm still okay, coach. So it doesn't. There's no indication to me that this guy is gonna. That he's gonna float away into the good night gently. But he's got to stop embarrassing himself, and he won't. So that makes him prime candidate, because right now he's sitting around talking. So you get that guy on the phone, you tell him, I hear they're auditioning for this every day, any other Sunday. I could be in that. What about the Tupac Shakur biopic that's coming out in June? Where my bitches at? I should be in that. Actually, that is coming out in June. They changed the title from Where My Bitch Is At. But that Tom Cruise thing
All eyes on me.
All eyes on me. And Tom Cruise is just going to be great as Tupac Shakur. I'm hearing people laugh. It's no laughing matter. He's going to be great. So I think Jerry Rice is gone. In terms of fighters, it's I don't know if I can really say this comfortably.
When has that ever stopped you?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say that Amanda Nunes.
Yeah.
There's just you don't understand. This is sports entertainment, and with WME at the table, if they're not thinking about you for commercials, for movies, for smokes models, for fucking Pegasus naked on the back of a horse, if they're not thinking about cross collateralizing you, they're not thinking about you. You can get out there and you can beat whoever the fuck you want to beat, but no one cares. And when I say no one, I'm speaking the people who sign your checks.
Yeah. It's weird too, because again, you've just became champion, and it's like, 2-3 fights.
And if they
she said 2 to 3 years, it'd be one thing at least, but still, like 2 to 3 fights.
And what
to have kids.
And what they're saying is, if you just stood out of the way and let us do our fucking jobs. At one point, Joe Ciccarelli, as he's producing this Oxbow record, he throws a great fucking A-list level Hollywood tantrum, starts throwing his BlackBerry around the control room and screams at the guitar player or the drummer. He goes, "Look, I can make this record as bad as you want me to make it, or you can let me do my fucking job. So out or I leave." And they were like, and I'm sitting behind my computer, and I'm like, "Do I have to go?" He goes, he goes, "Nah, you're okay. You're okay." Because I was keeping my fucking mouth shut. That's the thing. Just let them do their jobs. You could have been the LGBT, poster kid. That could have been their play. They could have marketed you that way, but you stood in the way. So you and Jerry Rice, maybe you could think of things to do with the helmet and the kids and so on, but you're done.
There's a Bob Dylan lyric about, I looked at my watch, I looked at my wrist, I punched myself in the face with my fist. That's what she did, man. Just self-ponage.
Oh, is that your favorite? My favorite. You know what my favorite Dylan line is? It's up there with the opening lines to Knuckle Up, and it's, "I wish for just 1 hour you could stand within my shoes."
Classic,
and then you
positively 4th Street.
And then you know what a drag it is to see you. I think of that about 18 times a day.
Yeah, well, and it made Phil Oakes drink himself to death. That was.
Well, on that happy note, thanks for joining us. Follow us on Twitter, EUGENE'S Robinson, at Kid Alexiold. Please give us a thumbs up, Eugene.
And I have to tell you, if you go to Aussie.com in about an hour, and there's an announcement about live sex with Eugene, and it's going to be a San Francisco event. And like I've said on Knuckle Up, if you're a fighter and a fan of the show, you text me, you pass the quiz, I get you on the special VIP list. That's it.
To have live sex with Eugene.
Exactly. So it's like, I have a chance to have live sex with Eugene.
Nah, I got guests. It's gonna be like the Dick Cavett show. I got a band leader. I got a Ed McMahon. I got everything.
All right. Rich Franklin's gonna be calling, trying to get his wife on there with you. So Did I say that? Oh, terrible.
See, right away I went to New York. I thought you said Joe Franklin. Man, I love Joe Franklin.
Nobody knows who Joe Franklin is. Eugene, the guy's been dead since
He,
1989.
he's dead. He's dead.
Yeah. A legendary New Yorker.
Leave comments on YouTube, subscribe MMANation.com on YouTube, MMA Nation on iTunes, visit Bloody Elbow, read Eugene at Ozzy.com. Be sure to check out all three of us on Amazon and continue letting us know if there are any moments, past episodes.
What about the thumbs up, man?
You did the thumbs up. You want to do it
already
again?
did it, Eugene.
Go on ahead. Give us a thumbs up.
There you go. Okay.
And let us know your favorite moments, past shows. We'll be back next week.
With timestamps and episodes. Don't just say that time when. If you want to actually be helpful, please tell us at least what episode. Timestamp would be perfect.
Yes. We'll be back next week with another installment. If I did it, we don't know what we're going to be discussing because the PR mistakes have yet to be made.